The other day, I was really racking my brain for ideas of interesting things in real life that I can try my best to build in Minecraft. And my head was going to things like castles and banks and other bits and pieces like that, none of them particularly interesting. But then, clock tower came to mind. How have I never built a clock tower before? I mean, seriously, I've been doing this for nearly 6 years now. How has a clock tower not come to mind yet? It's insane. But anyway, regardless of all of that, we're going to get things started with what is essentially a 9x9 area. Now, the reason that I'm saying essentially a 9x9 area is because this is the space that we have here. This is 9x9, but then we also have some blocks poking out on the sides. Now, these, they don't serve a purpose. They're just there for decoration. I personally think that when we expand the design upwards, it looks pretty cool. But of course, you can feel free to do whatever design for the clock tower you really want to, which kind of brings me on to my next point of this video, which is that this is going to involve quite a lot of building. We're going to be doing a lot of building work, so if that's not something you really want to see, then head down to the description and click the little time that I've put down there, and that will shoot you straight to the redstone segment of the video, because I know that some of you only like the technical stuff. Holy mackerel, how did this thing get here? Yeah, I feel like I should mention that we're going to be doing the building section of this tutorial in parts, and this is the first part, the base of the clock tower. So you can see we have filled out our entire 9x9 area with the fancy poking out blocks as well. And the way that we've done it is I have created some spruce wood struts that are going up the corners. So we have some spruce wood going up like that, and that kind of bulks out down at the bottom with fence posts and all of these stairs and things. We also have this nice base area entirely made out of wood. All of that's looking pretty cool, and then as we go more towards the central section with all of the stone, we have the stone bricks running across the bottom, then 3 cobblestone stairs running across the middle with some upwards ones as well, then this central one poking up in the center, and then we have these. Now these are actually going to be extended upwards throughout the entire tower, so that's definitely something to look out for. But this is how you build the base. So I would suggest taking a whole bunch of screenshots, maybe pausing the video a few times so that you can build this thing in your own words. Oh, and of course, world download will be down in the description if you want to see it in more detail. If I remember. I mean, you know that I'm pretty terrible at that sort of thing. So now that you've built your base, it's time to just stretch it upwards to turn it into a tower. So what we're doing is we're taking what we had right at the start and extending it. We've got the spruce wood going up, we've got all of the stone bricks and everything like that being extended upwards as well. And then we have this area here, this slightly indented area, which is just filled to the brim with different details. Now you can see in my hotbar, these are all the different blocks we're using. We're mainly using these ones and this one for the actual innards, the inside areas, and then we're using the fences and also the cobblestone stairs just for extra detail, as well as a few stone slabs as well. So you can see we've got some stone brick stairs. We've got the whole lot, essentially, and you just do whatever you feel looks good. You can go as crazy with this or as loose with this as you like, but I personally really like the way this has ended up looking. So we've got a few fence posts going up the side here on the outer edges, but nothing too serious. Most of it is happening in this indent. So there we go. That should give you a rough idea how I've decided to build my tower. Obviously, you can do whatever you really want with this. But as I say, extending it up by 7 blocks, your build should now be 11 blocks in total in terms of height. And the way that we're finishing off the tower is just by adding in some stone slabs up at the top here, ready to build our clock. This is where the clock is actually going to be going. Oh hey, my reference clock tower has actually been over there the whole time. I didn't realize you could see it. I thought it was hidden behind the hill. I hope I hope you haven't been able to see that throughout the video. Despite me kind of self-spoiling my own build, this is what the clock tower is going to end up looking like. So the face of it is a little bit complicated. I'm going to try my best to run through all of the details. So we've got these stairs that fold inwards here, then we've got the stairs running up like that, and they essentially make their way round to create the edge of the face itself. And then wrapping around here, we have got this stone slab structure, which goes up and down like that, and it connects up using these fence posts and also this glowstone. And then we have something similar happening up at the top. Now, I'm hoping you're getting all of this information. If you do want to build it for yourselves, you're going to have to pause the video quite a bit. But then as far as the face is concerned, we have 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks, and it essentially creates a 5x5 area with the corners missing. Then we have all of these buttons, which are meant to represent the different numbers on the actual clock face itself. But the things that matter are these redstone lamps, because this is essentially our clock. It's slightly different to a normal clock. I'll explain how it works later on in the video. But that is how you build the clock face. Now, in terms of the roof, We don't really have too much going on at the minute. We just have a big hole ready for all of the redstone, but we just have slabs going up like that, and then we have the standard stone bricks and cracked stone bricks making their way around like this. As I say, get as many screenshots as you possibly can. I'm going to show every possible angle of this so you know what you're doing. And now you can go away and try and build it for yourself. Oh, one other important detail, the back face isn't going to have any redstone lamps on it. So these 3 faces will, but this one won't. It simply doesn't work with the redstone. Now it's time for me to explain how this clock actually functions. So right now, it is at first light, which means that none of the lights are actually going to be on our clock face. Then, as the sun rises a little bit, the first redstone lamp is going to switch on. Further into the morning, the second redstone lamp is going to turn on. It's not quite midday, but it's also not quite morning anymore. It's kind of in the middle, about the time that you'd have brunch, if you're that sort of person. So that's when that second lamp will turn on. And then, as predicted, at midday, the third lamp will turn on. And it will also play a little tune out of note blocks. It's pretty cool. As a side note, this thing also works at night. So right now the moon is just coming up, the first lamp was turned on. Then when the moon is a little bit higher, the second lamp will turn on. And finally, when the moon gets to about here, the third redstone lamp will turn on. Now, I know what you're thinking, why doesn't it kick in at midnight? That's exactly what my plan was when I was designing this thing, but unfortunately, due to differences between the daytime daylight sensor and the nighttime daylight sensor, it wasn't actually possible. The nighttime daylight sensor seems to max out its redstone signal strength at around about here, which means that I can't actually detect when it goes over to midnight. It's a bit of a shame, but this thing's still cool. And now it's finally time to actually do some redstone stuff. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to place blocks going all the way up like this on each one of our redstone lamps. And then we're going to run it in comparators just like that. And then running into the side of those comparators, we are going to run in some extra comparators. Now on this side, we are going to run them out like that. Just making our way down here. And then on this side, unfortunately, we can't double these ones up, so we're just going to run them in like this. Then we are going to get hold of some chests. Now, each one of these chests is very important because they have a certain number of items on the inside. So this chest right here has got this many items on the inside. Now, I want to make it very clear. They don't have to be redstone lamps. If you're sat there panicking, thinking, how on earth am I going to get to 6 stacks of redstone lamps? Do not worry. This can be dirt. This can be cobblestone. It's just, it has to be stackable. So we're going to have 6 stacks of items inside that chest there. Then for our next one, we are going to have this many. That is 9 plus 4, so 13 stacks. And then this one down here, we are going to have 18 plus 2, so 20 stacks of items inside that chest. And we're going to do the same thing again on this side. So that's that one, 6 stacks. That's that one, which is 13 stacks. And then there's that one, 20 stacks, running into these comparators here. Now I do just want to say, if you want your redstone lamps to go upwards instead of downwards like my ones do, then all you have to do is swap this chest with this chest, and you may have to fiddle around with the number of items on the inside, but that's entirely possible. In fact, that might make more sense. No, I like it my way. So, the next thing that we've got to do is actually create the system which is going to connect all of these up. Now, the way that we're going to do that is we're just going to run the comparators out like this. We're going to have some redstone dust right there. We're going to have a block like this. And then we're going to have 3 blocks, redstone dust, and then redstone dust running up like that. And redstone dust connecting all of those in. And running into this block here, we're going to have a comparator, and that is going to be the thing that is going to be powering this entire system. So that comparator right there is extremely important. From there, we're going to run in a redstone line with a daylight sensor on top that we're going to switch through into night mode. This needs to be the night daylight sensor, and then our day daylight sensor is a little bit stronger, so we're actually going to need to run this across like this and have redstone dust winding its way down there. And then up here, we are going to have our daylight sensor. And we should see at this current point in time, the first redstone lamp should be switched on because the sun is only at this point in the sky. So that's looking pretty promising. Now, if you want to add in a little chime that plays when it gets to midday, which, let's be honest, all of us do, then you just need to run a redstone line down from here, across like that, with a comparator and then a block, and then another comparator, and then a block right here with some redstone dust. And we're going to be running that redstone signal downwards, but for the time being, all we have to do is place in a comparator, and then we're going to get our chests once again, and this time, we need to have a chest with this many items on the inside. So that is 9 plus 8, which is going to be 17. 17 stacks of items inside that chest running into the side of that comparator right there. Cool, so we are done for the top section. We're just going to cover this up with glass and then cover the rest of it up with stone slabs, and that will finish off the actual exterior of the build. Now it's time to head down to the bottom and actually place in all of the note blocks. To connect those in, you just have to go underneath your block that you placed at the top of the tower and place in a sticky piston with a redstone block on its face. Then you need to count 2 blocks downwards and place a block right about there. Now, if it's midday, this is where things get confusing. That piston will be extended, in which case you only count down 1 block because the redstone should be powered. Then you need to pop out like this and try and locate it in the side of the tower and place in some redstone dust on top of that block right there. So we've got redstone dust there. Now let's cover that back over and go underneath once again, because we now need to place in another sticky piston, and then we're going to need a redstone block on the face of that one. From there we go 1, 2, 3 blocks downwards like that and place some redstone dust on top. Then place a block up like this, redstone dust, and then 2 blocks going across there with 2 repeaters, both of them set to 4 ticks running into this block with redstone dust down at the bottom. Okay, now it's time to start chucking in all of your note blocks. So we're going to have a gold block, which means that we get the bell noise, which I would say is pretty good for a bell-based clock tower, and we're going to run that across like this into a bunch of them. So we're going to take a repeater set to 4 ticks, note block, and then another repeater set to 4 ticks, gold block, note block. You guys get the idea. I'm going to wrap this around like this, and I should end up with, I think, around about 9 or 10. Either way, it should look something like this, just wrapping back around to the start. Now, obviously, if you're musical and you know how these things work, then you can do whatever chime you really like, but a nice and simple one is just to do a scale. So we're going to start off from 0, let's reset that one, and then we're going to right-click on this one once, right-click on this one twice, this one 3 times, this one 4 times. You guys get the idea. And once that's finished, you're actually all done and dusted. We can cover up this hole here, and we can take a step back and actually check out the clock tower in all of its glory. Now let's do a quick tester of the system. So if I set my time to 6,000, for example, it's perfect. There we go. All of the lights have switched on and our chime has played, and then we can set the time to 0 and that will turn off all of the lights. Everything is functioning. This thing is pretty cool. So there we go. A working clock tower in Minecraft. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.